Looking at the markets today, Ross, good morning to you. It's been a funny old week. It started well this week, and then we had a couple of down days. Where do you think it's heading today?
Look, it's off to the races today in a big way. Yeah, no, and the reason for that is that you've not only had indications from the Bank of England, you're talking about vaccinations, the importance of those. Well, they're basically now preparing the British economy for negative interest rates. So think about this. If you want to put your money in the Bank of England, safest place you could possibly have it, you're going to have to pay them, potentially in 6 months' time. And they're basically saying that this is in case the vaccination program's going across the UK right now if they don't work. Here in Australia, the Governor of the Reserve Bank, in basically supporting the economy here, has said we will not go to negative interest rates. He cannot see that under any circumstances. And earlier this week, he also has indicated that the Reserve Bank is prepared to put another $100 billion into Australia's economy, effectively printing money and allowing banks more money to therefore lend into the economy. He's fronting a parliamentary committee today, and also the minutes of the Reserve Bank's meeting where they made this decision is also out today. So these are key things. And given what's happened overnight, you can imagine that the stock market is going to rise about 1%, 67 points, the futures market says right now, on the opening today.
Yeah, we're not far off negative interest rates, though, only 0.1%. And there had been a lot of talk last year, especially, whether we actually would end up going there. But we're doing so well.
It's almost a philosophical thing as to whether a central bank goes there or not. They believe with the money printing they're doing that they don't need to go to negative interest rates. But much of it will depend on the Australian dollar. As you know, the Australian dollar had got higher. The governor says that basically had they not taken the action that they have, that the dollar would be significantly higher again, and that would be detrimental to Australia's economy.
Also, markets are strong markets due to the increasing price of iron ore again.
Yeah, so iron ore's been one of the other keys, and that is China. Its production has still demanded Australian iron ore, despite all of the other, sort of, if you like, cutbacks and measures that they've taken against other industries. Now, overnight, you've seen Vale, which is the giant Brazilian miner. Its production is down 4%, but it's done something else, which is actually a first there, and that is cut a deal for $9 billion for that terrible mining accident that killed 270 people some 2 years ago. So the important thing here is you've actually seen Australian iron ore miners stronger, largely because Vale has not been as strong during that time.
But when Vale eventually comes back, that will have an effect here, right?
Could potentially, but it depends on the demand and the sense of whether China wants to hurt Australia. And iron ore is the key for our Australian economy recovering and improving right now. It's also the key, of course, for the fortunes of people like Clive Palmer, Gina Rinehart and Andrew Forrest as well.
All right, and on to the details of this giant bid for Tabcorp's wagering division from the UK's Entain?
So Entain is, one of the biggest gambling companies in the world. They own Ladbrokes, they own Sporting Bet and Coral. Now, the suggestion is they're going to land details to try and buy Tabcorp's wagering business here. Tabcorp is the biggest player in Australia. They're trying to get bigger. The idea of gambling is always that the bigger the pool that you have, the more money you make, because the more bets you can take and therefore the margins are bigger. So the bid could be up to $3 billion and details are potentially coming as early as today, it's suggested today by some media outlets.
So what could that do to the price?
Well, obviously, the price of Tabcorp already pretty strong off the back of this. But the second thing is, with coronavirus, people staying at home, guess what gambling revenues have done? They've gone through the roof.
So would you be, buyer beware, of course, with all these sorts of things, but is it a good investment for punters out there?
Might be a touch too late. But it might be that the info's already in the marketplace.
All right, good one.
That's always the case.
I'll have to get you next week. I might ask you for your tips for the year.
Oh, is that right? Good on you. Good on you, Pete. Just put me on the spot.
We'll see. Next week we'll see where we go. We might look at something like that. Anyway, Ross, good to see you. Talk to you soon.